Hey YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream in the beautiful sunshine in the winter,
Vero Beach, Florida.
Vero Beach, Florida.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
It's beautiful here.
It is.
We wanted to talk about Thousand Trail Parks, and we got to winter in Florida because of the Thousand Trails Parks. Now, first thing to get off my chest and talk about it right away. I hate to do this, but it's one of those things that we do for our channel to help support the channel. In the links down below, there's going to be two ways to look at Thousand Trails and talk to people about the memberships. One is Campground Memberships Outlet. That's where you get used memberships. They are approved, authorized, certified, however you want to look up. I don't know how to even say it.
The real easy thing to do with the CMO is to call them, give them your email. They will send you exactly what they have available and all the little details to it. If you need to know more, you email them back, say, hey, this is so-and-so's membership. I'm interested in it. Can I have more information?
Right, because it changes so much.
And they will just email it to you.
Yep.
And it's a pretty simple process.
So Campground Membership Outlet, when you call and talk with them, let them know that you were sent by Mike and Heidi at RV Daydream. Just let them know that. That way they know where their referrals are coming from. Now, that's for used memberships. Again, they're the only ones Thousand Trails says, hey, this is a legit place to buy and sell. eBay, Facebook Marketplace, whatever, that's so shady.
Don't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
Unless it's your friend.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I much, if it's cold sales, definitely go through them.
Yes.
And again, just mention our names. Now, if you want to do new, that's what we did. After we explored the used option, they didn't have the membership we wanted. You know, that list that she just talked about, they sent it to us, and it's like, any of these aren't what we wanted. We went to get a new membership. Jim and Brandy Reneau. Again, in the description of this video is links to contact them. And again, just mention RV Daydream, Mike and Heidi, and I think our Thousand Trails number might be there too. Just let them know. Say, hey, we watched their video. That's why we're here. We're wanting to know about these memberships. They are more than happy to tell you all about the membership. Jim and Brandy will do their deal and tell you through a PowerPoint about this stuff. Or if you talk to Campground Membership Outlet, whoever that may be, they'll send you that list, but you can ask all kinds of questions after you get that list about each one of those memberships and how it works.
Read your contract to its fullest.
Yeah.
Read it from beginning to end. If you have to read it 3 times, you got to read it 3 times.
We did not get, by no means, did we get shorted, cheated, or anything, because we just read about the membership, and we comprehended. And every time we had a question, we would call and ask. No problems with anybody that we just discussed. So again, if this strikes a nerve and you're thinking, hey, I wanted to do it anyways, this is where I'd go, I want to do it, just mention our name. That, again, that helps with us and keeping our bodies on the road and traveling. But the whole reason that we got to do Florida is because of Thousand Trails memberships. Remember, you're getting to stay for free. Now, of course, you have membership dues that are once a year, and then, of course, you had to buy the membership in the first place. And you might be making payments on it, potentially. You're still staying for free. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you pay for your cable, right? And then you talk about how many free channels you can see, how many movies you get to see for free. Well, it's the same here. No difference whatsoever. Now, part of your membership, whenever you're buying it, they're going to give you the option to add the Trails collection on there. Now, all that Trails collection does is there's a whole bunch of Thousand Trails parks that you're buying a membership for a little bit more money a year. And I do say a little bit more because it's like another $300. When you talk about a membership that's, $4,000 to up to $15,000, when you're saying, hey, for another $400, you can add another 100 parks onto your system, it's a no-brainer. And those parks operate a little bit differently. Those parks, a lot of them are different parks as far as mobile home parks that might have been converted over into RV parks. Some of them might still be mobile home parks that have RV sites available. Listen, these parks are everywhere. Now, you can only stay in those parks for 2 weeks. Then you have to be out of the system for a week. Then you can come back and stay for 2 weeks again. Again, it's all part of your contract. And some of these new memberships are different. They allow you to stay even longer.
The Encore's a little bit
Yeah.
longer on
Yeah.
the newer program, so you always, we have our contract with us. You have to keep it handy.
You got to read through it all the
Yeah.
time. You really do.
You gotta, there's some things that you might think that, oh, could I do that? And then you read into it, and no, you can't do that.
Right, right.
Or you can.
So the Encore system, the parks, I think that's where a lot of people have their trouble at. Now the Thousand Trails parks, let me say, a lot of them are pretty decent parks. Kind of campground environments for the most part. Some of them are a little bit more run down than others. The Encore parks, they're more smaller for the most part. Again, more converted over. You might have full timers there. You might go into this park and there be one section that looks like houses, and people have been living there for years. You've got to realize that you're staying for free here. You're staying for free, and it's going to be different at each one of these parks, because not only territorial wise, I'm talking about demographics. The parks down here in Florida may look totally different than the parks that are in Ohio, which I don't even think there are any Encores in Ohio, but some of them that run up the coast. Everybody does things a little bit different. Just be open about it. Just be open and fluid about it. And whatever you do, don't read the reviews and base your decision on that park on just the reviews. Glance over the reviews, see if anything pertains to you. But there's a lot of stuff that's being said in some of the reviews. I'm like, this didn't even, I would have never gone to this park, and we've got there, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not having a problem with any of the stuff that person talked about. So just take it with a grain of salt, what you're reading in reviews about the parks. So far, we've had a great experience. They've all been accommodating. We've extended stays. We've come in early. We've left late. We've done all kinds of stuff, and they've accommodated us every way that we've needed to be.
You can't assume, though, that they will do that for you.
You have to ask. We've always
Communicate.
expected to hear no, but when we ask, we just, and so far, great. It's been no problems. But to be really narrow-minded and think that my RV membership that I've bought, and I paid a lot of money for, is going to somehow give me a red carpet treatment to waterfront property that's big, huge sites with pull-throughs and fire rings and a tiki hut and a picnic table and maybe a chase lounge that's built in. I mean, it's not like that. You're going to get into some of these parks that are just beautiful and really nice, and you're going to get into other ones that are just what I kid around and say concrete jungle. It's just nothing but pads and RVs. It's just one of those things. This is one of the reasons that we stuck with a smaller RV, because we have more options when we come into parks. We can get into more sites. They have sites available for us when people that have got a 40-foot fifth wheel, they don't have any availability for them.
Or they do, and it's real tight.
Right. These Encore parks only give up so many sites out of their whole park to the Trails collection. So you got to realize that you might be sitting looking at a site that is waterfront, that's just beautiful. It's wide and it's empty. Well, that's not an Encore site necessarily. So don't think, oh, I'm getting screwed, I could be over there. Remember, it's so you can stay for free. I'm going to say that a ton of times because your other option is Walmart or a truck stop. Of course, you could pay for a state park or something. And that's, I think, what the problem is with a lot of this. There's a lot of people that think, hey, I've camped all my life and I've never seen no sites that look like this ever. Well, sure, you've camped all your life maybe in one geographic area, or you've gone to nothing but national parks or state parks. Well, that's totally different. That's like a camping environment.
There's no permanent campers there.
Yeah,
It
right.
makes a difference.
It's a huge difference. So
Yeah.
you're not going to get that necessarily. Again, open-minded, you're staying for free. So the other thing that I'm finding is that people don't seem to realize what I consider the obvious. We're wintering in Florida. Currently, right now, I don't know when you're watching this video, it's March 2021. It's the beginning of March. It just flipped over. So we just got done with this horrible winter storm that came through in even deep Texas, froze deep Texas. You know, we had the option to winter in Florida, winter in Arizona, or winter in Texas. We was going to try to stay warm all winter. Well, talking with Heidi, I told her, hey, I was stationed in Texas, and I'm going to tell you right now that I remember a really bad snowstorm when I was stationed in Texas, and I don't want to see snow. So she said, where are we definitely guaranteed not to see snow? I said, Florida. It's the only place you could go. And even then, you got to go pretty far south in Florida to ensure that you're not going to see frost. So that's why we chose Florida. But that's also why hundreds of thousands of other people have chose Florida. And all, you know, out of those hundreds of thousands, there's, I'm sure, 10,000, maybe not quite that much, that are Thousand Trails members. So guess what? We're not going to be able to reserve and stay in the Florida Keys like we want to. Oh well. I'll go somewhere else.
Yep.
And that's how we get into this park here. This park is a beautiful park. We love it. It's just perfect for us, and we're paying for it. Now you guys are probably saying, oh, you're not staying for free if you're paying for the park. Well, I could have stayed for free. It's just the place that I had the ability to reserve at for free wasn't somewhere we wanted to go. So we make sure it's in our budget that we can actually go somewhere else. And it's not that bad. It's really nice to get out of the system sometimes and go to the beach. Like when we leave here, we're going to Ormond Beach. We're going to be there for the month, and it's on the beach. You're not going to find that hardly at all at any kind of Encore park. But nonetheless, we don't expect that either. We know that when we go to these other parks that we got the membership for, we're staying for free.
Yep.
So depends on what you want to do. You're not going to get nothing for free.
Yep.
So whenever the amenities start getting stacked up, and it's a nice area, and it's quiet, and it's bigger lots, and it's not crowded, and you're near the beach, you're near restaurants, you're near everything, you're right on top of everything, just remember that those parks are far and few in between that Encore will take care of for you, you know, that will fit all the, you know, check off all those boxes. Now, as far as the parks themselves, Encore parks, some of them are old, and you're going to have some weird stuff go on. Like in this case, this is a mobile home park. They're converting some of the sites over to RV sites. Our sewers in the back, our water hookups in the back, the electric's off to the side, but some of these places you're gonna find some weird hookups. I say weird. I didn't say wrong. I didn't say bad. They're just weird. Yeah. They're just different. You might have to run your hose from underneath your RV and hook up to something that's underneath the awning. I mean, it just happens that way. It's not a big deal. Just be flexible. And don't throw a fit about it because it's different than what you're used to. It's just different, period. I mean, it's something that you have to be flexible. You have to be fluid. Of course, again, everybody wants palm trees, big green grass, no ants in their sight, no bugs, no loud noises, which we'll talk about in a second here. It just not necessarily works that way. It just don't. You have to be flexible. Now, something we found about the Encore parks, even the Thousand Trails parks, boy, these people are accommodating.
They are.
What time do you want to come in? Oh, okay. Can we come in later? Yeah, sure. Can we come in early? Yep, looks like we can get you in early. Hey, I need to extend my stay a week. Can I pay and stay a week? Yes, I'm sure we can work that out. I need to stay a couple more days early. Okay, yeah, we can work that out. They're accommodating. And if you have a problem with whatever you're trying to do and it's not working for you, as far as you need to get in early or later, call the park. Talk with the park. No matter what Thousand Trails umbrella covers as far as the parks that are memberships underneath, Encore, RPI, Thousand Trails, the bottom line is talk to the park that you want to make those accommodations with, because they are the ones that run the park. So you just talk to them and say, hey, I need to come in a little bit later. No problem. Maybe it is a problem. Don't expect yes. Just expect to ask the question, and they're accommodating usually. Okay, so I touched on it briefly, and that's noise. These parks, again, aren't in the middle of the country in a nature preserve of 60,000 acres. You might have a train track that runs past the place. You might have an airport that is just over the fence. You might have a highway or a roadway that a lot of trucks travel, or cars that are racing up and down, motorcycles, whatever. That's part of this RV life.
Yes, very much.
There's a big difference, and people have to wrap their head around this difference between camping and RVing. There's a difference in RVing on the weekend, maybe for 3 weeks out of the year, 5 months out of the year, and living full-time RVing. You need to go find the places that you like, but don't condemn the ones that aren't the way you like, because you're staying at them for free. Remember, it's free. So some of these parks are old. They're 50 and 60 years old. You're going to have some weird stuff that you're going to run into, and noise, because of placement is another. City, if you're picking a spot that's in the city, what did you think you were going to get? Because they're not going to be able to necessarily have a park that was just built yesterday. So that means it's been there for a long time, and that's the only way they're staying a park or a resort, however you want to call it. And some of these places that call themselves resorts aren't resorts at all. But still, if you're in a city, expect that you're not going to be in the most ideal type of park. It's going to be tight. It's going to be noisy. But you're in the city, so all the amenities that you get with that, that's what you get. And again, for Thousand Trails and the Encore system and Trails Collection, it's free. So like when we stayed at Fort Myers Beach RV Resort, the sites were on top of each other. We were facing our neighbor, and guess what? It was a great experience, because we could go to the restaurants, we could get on our bikes, we could Uber, we could go everywhere we wanted, and it's all because of our ability to explore based on where that park was. A lot of these places that you get into, like this place here, since the Canadians can't come down, again, it's 2021, this park is filled with Canadian full-timers, or I'm sorry, seasonal people. And even though it's winter season and they should be here, all their stuff is shuttered up. It's got shutters on. You know, a lot of people, oh, it's all boarded up. It looks like, and I've said it too, it kind of looks like a ghost town. Feels that way a little bit. But they're just shuttered up for the season. You know, they went home for the summer, last summer, and they can't come down for this winter. So the house, you know, these places have been set. I kind of like it. It's just less people for the same amount of space. Of course, we can't use their RVs or their patios or nothing,
Right.
but we can use the swimming pool. And now there's 40 less people
You're right.
that would be here. So
Maybe more than that.
Yeah. Now, of course, that might change with you guys. You know, watching this video later.
Next year could be a whole other ball game.
Could be definitely. But the fact that some of these places are full-time, you know, people live full-time or even seasonal, expect it to look different than what you would with an RV site. As far as the park maintenance, we haven't had any issues with that, but some of the stuff might get old. I mean, they're being used a lot, and a lot of different people hooking up a lot of different stuff, pulling in a lot of different rigs, and people run over stuff, hit stuff, pull stuff, break stuff, don't know how it works, don't know how it hooks up, dumping stuff, whatever. So some of the park's maintenance may not look like you would expect. It may not be perfectly groomed. We went to an Encore park on our way when we came down for the winter. We stopped in Georgia, I believe it was, and one of the sites we were at, there was a lot of like cigarette butts and pop caps and stuff like that in the site. I'm talking, it's been there for a long time. I don't care. I got to stay for free. It was for the night. I had
Right.
full hookups. I got to dump my tanks, take a hot shower, have air conditioning, and had a place to stay for the night that was safe, that I didn't have to worry about getting kicked out by personnel or something. So, again, it's free. Now, wintering in Florida. Everybody would like to come to Florida in winter. You know, it's the only place, again, that you really don't get any snow. And we've had some beautiful days. I mean, we had a stretch of 80-degree days there for a while. Now, we're only into the 70s today, and we're going to be into the 70s to upper 70s for about the next 4 days. Then we get back to the 80s again. Because a lot of people want a winter in Florida. You can ask Heidi, how long do we have to wait?
Reserving a spot in Florida, it's 1 year to the day, is what I've been told by several places, because they book 1 year in advance.
No, that's not Encore or Thousand
No.
Trails parks.
No.
That is if you want to get
Right.
into a place for the entire season or for 4 months. Let's say you find a place you really love and you want to stay there for 4 months. Again, just because you paid for that membership, I'm going to tell you a different way to use it. For example, if we could get into this park that we're currently at next year and we could stay for 4 months, we would pay for the 4 months to stay here. That doesn't mean I can't use my 1,000 trails. That doesn't mean I can't go to the Keys for 2 weeks. That doesn't mean I can't go for the Keys for 2 weeks and then go to Orlando and then go to do Disney for a few days. I mean, you still can use your membership and still winter in Florida and still have a nice place to stay. So a lot of these parks that are seasonal, it's okay if you leave. If you
Right.
take off and go and you're gone for a couple weeks and you come back again, as long as you pay them for your spot that whole time, you can actually leave stuff behind too. People do that. We've been to plenty of campgrounds that people have paid for the season, and when you pull in, our RV and we're in our site, we see an empty site and they've got like steps there and their chairs and umbrella and bicycles and a barbecue grill and all
Yep.
kinds of stuff, and they got it all covered up with a tarp. Well, that means they went out and they're enjoying themselves. It doesn't mean they want to give up their spot for the rest of the season. They just want to go vacation from their site. And we could do that too. Now, as far as 1,000 Trails, the higher the membership, most likely you get to reserve further out.
Ours is 6 months.
Yeah, ours is 6 months for 1,000 Trails, but Encores are still, for us,
60 days.
is 60 days. And as far as your stay, it all depends if it's a high use park or not. There's a lot of stipulation there. We can pay extra to stay an extra week if it's a high use park. We've done that once. I don't know if we do it again. It all depends. So just be aware. There's other ways to Florida winter camp. But more importantly, again, this will allow you to full-time travel throughout the U.S. for a lot less money. So as far as our 1,000 Trails recommendation, if you're going to full-time RV, yes, absolutely.
It's the best value.
It's by far, definitely. If you want to do it for a few months out of the year, maybe 5 months out of the year, still,
Maybe the camping pass.
yeah, you could get away with some of the smaller membership options. Camping pass is really small, and you can get a zone pass if you're just staying in one location. If you're a weekend warrior, we had people ask us this before. They say, hey, listen, I just go out and camp, a few times a year, like 3 times a year. Maybe still a camping pass.
Depends on what
Yeah.
what you're looking for. You can research the campgrounds also before you purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our thoughts on 1,000 Trails. We wanted to talk about this because, again, there still seems to be a lot of people that live in a dream world, I think. They're expecting the sunshine and unicorns to be flying out their butt, and there's nothing bad that ever happens. And that's not the case out here. You have to have the mindset of, listen, I might be going into a rough neighborhood, a rough park with crabby neighbors and a tight site that's muddy, that's hard to hook up. Think of it that way. So when you get there, you're not going, oh, this sucks. This is horrible. I can't stand this. I expected the jacuzzi to be on site. No. Expect the worst. Hope for the best.
Yep.
I mean, that's really
That is for sure.
the best way to do it, and we have been extremely happy. So, being 1,000 Trails members, Encore for almost a full year now, going just a couple months shy of a full year, no regrets
Nope.
at all.
None at all.
It's been a perfect experience for us. Less than ideal in certain situations, but way far better than the alternative, and that's, again, Walmart for the night and staying at some of these other places that are just questionable. So again, links are down below, and if you like this video, click like and subscribe if you want to see more of our adventures. And more importantly than that, the links, just just use our name. That's all. That helps the channel, and Heidi will send us away.
As always, we hope to see you out here. Bye.
Bye.